Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, a beautiful lady on my left. Her name is Toni, and we did once a production at YouTube Space when we had a lot of glitter on you and a lot of interesting materials. Hope did you like that one?
Yeah, I did. It was so fun. It was amazing because, like I said, I love art before, and to like actually be a canvas and to be painted and to just be a part of something that was just so like magical. Like the outcome was just so magical. Like it was just inspiring and like fashion forward and art based, and it just came out so magical in the end. Like,
And I had a show this Thursday. I had my fashion show actually at the same time, so I didn't go, but I think it was also the production that we did there mentioned and also helped her tremendously with her show. I don't think she will have that kind of turnout if you would not be in the video, so we certainly attribute your beauty a lot of attention to the video, so I think you did a big part of that one. And I remember you came like next month or one of those days in the summer to see my show at Skyroom. Did you like that one?
I did. I love the show at Skyroom. You had so many nice dresses. I love the glow in the dark ones. They were so like unique, and I think your fashion line is awesome because you have so many unique pieces and they stand out, and they're not like pieces that you would normally see people wearing, and I think that's what I like. And I always like unique pieces. Like for one, my blazer, like yes. I'm always fashion forward. Yeah, like always like you really unique pieces, and just pieces that people that pieces that people you wouldn't normally see wearing. Like it's just the uniqueness of clothing.
Why do you think people love fashion? Why do you care about fashion?
I think I always saw fashion as a form of expression, especially when you're younger, growing up. Putting on, your mother's clothes and stuff like that, and trying on your mother's clothes. I know I was always in my mom's closet growing up and stuff like that. So I would be trying on her clothes and stuff like that. So like
Why?
Because my mom was a fashionista growing up too. So she was always like on top of all the labels and everything. Like I've learned most of my fashion skills and everything probably from that woman. Yeah, definitely.
Why? But why? There is. I don't know if you saw one piece I did with Elle magazine, and Patrick's daughter. We did a mother-daughter dress show. So far, it's got 6.2 million views on Facebook. So it's a kind of one of the top productions that I ever done. So she's wearing the glow-in-the-dark dress that's my mom did for her mother, and now that she's getting married, she bought the same same dress, like same company for her. So her mom took the dress out of the closet that done by my mom, and now she's like following the same line of clothing. So I think it's very noble to have multi-generational kind of clients and multi-generational continuation of the line with us. My question to you is why mom and daughters have that care for the closet together. Do you think it helps? Because let me rephrase it a little bit more. It takes 3 generations of a gentleman to grow a gentleman. So your grandparents has to be went to college, the parents have to go to college, the grandparents, then you have a gentleman in the family. Same thing goes for a lady. If your grandmother loves fashion, and then your mom loves fashion, and there are generations, and it comes like from very early stage when you're putting pieces together and what's matched and what's not matched, and the fashion never ends, right? But you need to have yes, you can go to school. Yes, you can be a first generation in fashion, but a lot of ladies historically in the high society of Britain or other countries have been cultivating that taste that from the early age, from generations to acquire that kind of taste. How's that was experienced in your family?
I think it stemmed from my grandmother. My grandmother was always selective. My mother would always tell me that my grandmother was always selective with certain clothes that she would wear, and especially like perfumes and stuff like that. And my mom just kind of took it on, and she brought her own style to it. I remember growing up, I would always see her, dressing with the really, really fancy, stuff. And I always wanted to do that. And so me just being me, it kind of just put my own little flair onto it. And I brought my own style. But to this day, she still dresses me and she still teaches me things that I wouldn't know. So I think it just stems from like I said, it's like brought down like through traditions. I think it takes time. Like my mom is the type of woman like where she can throw something on in 5 minutes and it's like, oh my God, how did she do that? And for me, it's like, okay, I could put this together. And then some days I can put it together in 5 minutes. And some days I'm like, okay, Mom, I need your help. And then like she'll just change her top and she's like, okay, now you're done. And I'm like, oh my God, how'd you do it? So I think it's just practice and time. And she's just, like I said, she's always been like fashion forward, like since I was little. I remember since I was like 13, so I've always been inspired by her and my grandmother growing up in the house and seeing them, especially during holiday season especially.
Toni, if I may take you to next question. Let's talk a little bit about the compensation in the modeling industry. So it's a serious subject. You're a model, and you do a lot of things for free and for the trade and stuff, but you also want to produce some kind of income. What kind of sources of income are available to models? I understand girls wants to get paid, but runway doesn't pay much, and everybody wants to have you model for free. And the photographers, everybody have kind of low budget, and those gigs that have tremendous budgets and very high end, whether it's require friend or family, or they use young kids like who are 12, 15-year-old, and parents support them, so they don't want like models who are kind of adult and want to earn a living from this. How the models can make money in fashion?
In fashion, there are ways to make money in fashion. I feel like you named all of them, literally. But I feel like if you are more than just a model, and I mean that in a way as in influential, basically, yes. Have more than just a pretty face. Have more to bring to the table than just being able to just smile in front of a camera, just have a presence that, no other can, have a personality that no one can outshine, be open to networking and to meeting new people, because networking is definitely important in the business. And I feel like that part in the modeling world gets confused, and networking is so important because the industry looks so big, but it's really so small.
Let me ask you a question. What if, let's say, some of the models that I'm friends with have been able to produce additional income, let's say, from attending high-end events, like, let's say, Heidi Klum is having this week a big event, her annual Halloween party, and big like celebrities, billionaires at this party. So I know quite a few models who are as pretty as you, or not as pretty, but also models, and they get paid by the designers to wear a dress. They get paid by people who make shoes or jewelry, or like they promote a particular drink. So they come to those events. The designers sponsor their dress, and designers pay for them to be in front of the cameras, because if they wear a beautiful dress and they end up in a newspaper like New York Times or Vogue or like big magazines, and thousands of pictures taking place, and that's all over social media, and when they do interviews, and they can mention, oh, I'm wearing this particular designer dress. So I have a friend who get paid by Calvin Klein pretty much almost every week to wear particular clothes. Why? Because she has like 50,000 followers on her Instagram, so she makes sure she takes those selfies. And people see that she attends high important events in that particular clothes. Would that be a decent stream of income? Sometimes the models need maybe a photographer to take a picture. Sometimes they can just do it on their cell phone, and it becomes viral and helps the brand.
Yeah, it's really hard to get into that world, I feel, especially if you're a model and you're not signed to like a big agency. Like there's a lot of models in this on Instagram that want to be more than an Instagram model.
Yeah, but you don't need a big agency. You don't need a representation. I have models who reach out to designers in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Russia, in Ukraine, in the far corners. For those designers, if they need to come to New York, pay for the room, pay for the flights, pay for everything, what these girls do, they get their clothes for them shipped to them. They tell them their sizes. The clothes shipped to them. They wear it. They take pictures and they ship the clothes back and they get paid.
Because I need to be talking to you because that's what I'm talking about, because that's the level that I'm trying to get on now. I feel like I'm at a point now, like I'm modeling for about 3 years, and I'm not gonna lie, like I've done the free stuff. I've done, put myself out there, and I'm really like this year I'm really trying to take the next step and really bring myself out there and brand myself as T.A.G, the model, which is Toni Griffiths, basically. And I'm signed to an international agency, so I'm trying to make connections overseas, all over the world, not just in the United States.
In terms of, I'm going to bring you back to my question, earning income as a model. All right. Look, in the past, the traditional productions that require sophisticated, expensive set. The photographers, filmmakers, like very expensive. Lots of money needs to be spent to produce 1 or 2 pictures or a little short video. But as you saw, I film for free at YouTube Space. I film here for free at Brick. I know quite a few models like Tanya and some other girls who say, "Oh, I'm pretty. Would you like to take some of my pictures?" And photographers would love to do it for free, so they don't have to pay the model. What in reality takes place, she gets sponsored by the company that makes a drink, the company that makes her shoes, so she get all that money from the and she doesn't have to pay the photographer. So it's a big expense that otherwise if they go through the producer, they have to pay the studio, they have to pay the photographer, they have to pay the model, so it becomes a large budget. So the models cut out of this and get to do work for free. But if the model is the one who brings all that attention, all that income, it comes from her, she might cut out of the photographer, and she does the pictures on her cell phone. It becomes viral right then and there. Or she gets the photographer to work for her for free just for the images, just for the privilege to film with her. So it's a question of who has the upper hand in the bringing that designer. And designer comes usually not to photographer, but to the model. Do you think you are outspoken? You are quite a modern lady. I'm sure you're capable of to build those kind of sophistication of the production on your own. Maybe you can involve me in the first couple of times, but I'm pretty sure you can build your brand around you. So every time you wear a particular dress, you go to the New York Fashion Week, you model it before and after the shoot, and you go to elaborate set when they pay you tiny money. But if you get to do a couple of selfies or bring me as your personal assistant or photographer, that gets you additional pictures with the clothes that you want to put forward, not why you're here in the first place. Do you think that kind of collaboration can help you and other models to produce additional creative source of revenue for you as a model?
Yes, for sure. Definitely. I think that'll definitely help me, and of course definitely help other models too as well, because that gives me that look that I'm looking for, like I'm working with someone that's on top, that can help me get on top as well. So vice versa. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And also brings me back to my point of networking. Like if I wouldn't have met you if I hadn't networked and knew Mark. So networking is definitely essential.
Okay. Let's take the audience to the next question. I want to talk about honor and nobility in the fashion. A lot of people think of, if she models, she probably a call girl. If she models, she sells herself as sex, or like they have so bad negative connotation for modeling. And actually, like when your opening remarks, you mentioned you love fashion. You do it with your mom. You do it when you was a young kid. So we do fashion not because of man and showing body for sex or something like that. We do it because we care for the fashion. We care for the beauty.
expression. Yeah, it's a form of self-expression. It's a form to bring out your personality. You know, it encourages. I think it encourages identity growing up too. It just stems down to so much. Like it just brings out so much growing up. Fashion is very important. I just feel like it's the stem of who you are.
I don't want to name a person, but last week when I was doing a couple of my shows in Skyroom, and I invite that lady with quite an impressive resume to my show at Skyroom. She said, "Skyroom, I would never go. There are cold girls there. There is negative, bad stuff happening there. I'm not bringing myself there to come in, or my sponsors or anybody else." And I said to her, "First of all, you offend me, and you offend my models, and you offend my crew. Those girls are legit, and I don't know who does what in their bed and how they make their living. I cannot be certain in that sense, but many of those girls that I know for years and film with me and model in my shows in the past, they don't do it for sex. They don't do it for for the tricks. They do it for the love of runway. They want to be on a stage. They want to be seen. And you see in my show, nothing bad is taking place. But why it's so much negativity is around us?
Because it's a stereotype. We've been known for this.
How we fight those bigots?
We have to be influencers. Now, like I said, we have to be more than just pretty faces. We have to be more than just people that stand in front of cameras, more than people that just stand on a runway, then just walk down a runway for 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? We're so much more than those, you know what I'm saying? Because we are a part of a team. We are a part of, when we put on a production of a runway show, we're a part of it. You know, like we are important. Models are important. So we don't need to be thrown to the side. We don't need to be called prostitutes. We don't need to be called call girls and stuff like that. We need to be recognized as human beings, because we are important. Models are important. Like, we're not just hangers, and I hate when they call us that, because it's just that's
for the garment. It's a human being. I agree with you. We couldn't get more agreement. I've seen a couple of shows now they do on the robots instead of human beings. So they just want to show the garment on a robot rather than a model. So they pay attention to the garment rather than to the girl. But I think that all this, even I've been criticized many times in private conversation with some sponsors. When I ask, come and see my show, oh, you have too many girls of color. You have too many girls of plus size curvy girls. I had when I asked to particular venues, Skyroom been nice to me, and I do whatever I basically want. But many other venues, when I ask them, I'd like to take my show to you, and say, oh, you cannot do that because your girls are older than a certain age, or they are curvy, and they skin question comes to the question. How do we change that perception? We are in 21st century. The world have changed quite a bit, and it's still so much negativity, and people want to say, oh, there is a standard. Yeah, maybe one or two like Sarah Banks, Tara Banks can be, but primarily we want the skinny blonde, and that's what fashion is, and that's how they see it. How it can be changed?
I think it can be changed over time, and I think it can.
I don't want over time.
Not over time. We want it now. We all want it now. This question is so important to me because I've been in a point where, like, I've almost walked in New York Fashion Week and something has happened because of my skin color. You know what I'm saying? And but for fast forwarding, like it's I think we need to identify what beauty is to everyone, because everyone has a misconception of what beauty, like, besides the American standard of what beauty is, we all have a misconception of, we have our own understanding of what we think beauty is. And I feel like we should identify that. We shouldn't let the world identify what the beauty standard is. And I think that's where we mess up. And if we bring our own beauty standard, and like you said, you have diverse girls, all types of colors, older, younger, and I think all models should be like that. We shouldn't have a strict, height limit. We shouldn't have a strict color limit. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the girls nowadays, what I'm seeing is they do have a lot of dark skin models now. Dark skin are on high commodity, and it's beautiful. But what they're doing is they're cutting our hair. They're cutting our hair because they don't want to spend the time to do our hair. That's what I'm noticing in the black model industry. And it's sad that that's the way that it's going, but that's just what it is, because I've spent I
It shouldn't be what it is. It should be like my question: how do we have a profound effect on the human condition? How the fashion could be changed? Because you have certain following. How many? Like over 10,000 you have on Instagram. Well, okay, look, you're growing, and but it's not even a question of numbers. The quality is, you can have 20 people following you, but those people are important in the industry. Those people are have the name, and some you can have thousands of people, because of course, if you would put a lot of pictures in lingerie and the sexy and the stuff, you'll have many more perverts like following you easily. But that's not getting booked for this. The quality of you can have 100 people follow you, but those people are have a name, have a reputation, have actually matter. So it's not always in numbers; it's in quality as well. Yeah.
That's why I see about myself. Like, I know I don't have that much Instagram followers, but I know I have important people, because I have important people messaging me and stuff like that, asking me for work. So I know people that have 10K plus followers and they're not getting booked anything. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference between having the right followers.
Usually they want a new face. Sometimes, if she has so many followers, everybody saw her face, we don't want her here. We want to discover brand new first girl. So all of the great. And if they see that you model for a while and you didn't accomplish, like let's say you model for 2 years, 3 years, and you didn't become Tara Banks, maybe you're not cut out for this. And they keep looking for that first model, her first shoot, so they want to discover that, and they keep looking, so they never satisfy with someone who is already done some research.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, yeah, it depends on the model. Like me, in my opinion, I don't plan on modeling forever. I plan on branching out and doing more, because I want to be an influencer. I want to be more than just a pretty face, of course. I want to be, I want to have my own nonprofit organization, my own clothing line, possibly. Like, I just want to do more than just be a model.
So modeling can open doors, like in being a stylist, run a corporation, be a doctor, be a lawyer. Those things could come, like people see first how beautiful and how well you can hold yourself in the public eye, and then they discover that you can talk, and then you have ideas, and you're smart, and there are other me personally, I discovered, I'm dealt with quite a few models, as you know, and people think, just because they models, they see. A lot of those girls are very smart, more smarter than other people, and the beauty, that's the first thing they see. But once they start listening to those girls, or guys for that matter, male models also up there, they just use that as a platform to advance their cause. Or whether it's a non-profit or it's for business, it can take you to be a host of TV show. It can take you to be like a producer, influence in the other directions.
And that's exactly what I want to do. Like, I want to focus on self-esteem, especially in the modeling industry. Self-esteem is so important, because I feel like some models, every model is expected, like on TV, they assume that all models are just have the perfect self-esteem, and they're just the most confident people in the world. And we don't talk about what
pardon me, let me stop you for a second. We're going to change the battery on this camera so we don't lose the material, and we'll go get back to you guys. Stay tuned, we'll have a second piece. Okay.